by a large tornado last night. The National Weather Service has classified this tornado as an EF3. And in the light of the day, we can now see the impact this storm has had, and it is nothing short of catastrophic. Rowlett emergency personnel, along with other agencies, continue to work in severely damaged areas. In addition, we have trained volunteers on the ground from Citizens Emergency Response Team and other agencies assessing damage at this time. At this point, we've identified the following. Please make note that we expect the numbers to be higher. There are 42 affected structures, 38 minor, 22 major structural damage, and 39 homes have been totally destroyed. And we haven't even quite assessed even half of the area yet. At this time, we still have only 23 reported injuries. We do not know the extent of those injuries or the status, but we still only have 23 at this time. As of 11 o'clock, there are still 6,000 homes that are out of power on the eastern side of Rowlett. Encore continues to work that area. They are having to go grid by grid, almost street by street, to determine where they can turn power back on. Temporary shelter is still at Stedham Elementary, the 6,200 damage in Rowlett. The Red Cross and Salvation Army are there on site in that location to assist. I do want to remind the public that we have established a curfew in the affected areas. Only emergency personnel and residents are going to be allowed in the area, and that's only if it's safe. We want to stress that the need for the roads is for emergency personnel. We are asking non-emergency personnel to stay out of Rowlett, and we need the roadways for emergency operations. We've received considerable requests asking where to send donations. At this time, if people want to make donations, we're asking that they do that with contact the Red Cross at www.redcross.org. We are in the process of coordinating a donation location for hard goods, and we'll post that information on our website when it's available. The Rowlett Animal Shelter is open. It's located at 4402 Industrial. We are accepting displaced and found pets. Citizens who have either lost an animal or has found one are encouraged to call 972-412-6219 for more information. Another update will be provided at 5 p.m. today at the Rowlett City Hall on 4,000 Main Street.
Could you talk a little bit about the pace of the surveying and of the work that's taking place this morning? Obviously, the storms haven't cleared up. Can you describe that a little bit and how that's going?
We had, as y'all know, we talked about earlier today that we did 2 sweeps through every home that we found last night. This morning, they're going through it with a lot more detail. In addition to that, they have teams that are actually assessing the damage itself and trying to determine what the next step would be in terms of pulling together that information. At one point, I think we had about 160 trained volunteers out there helping us to do that. It's a wide area, very long. They have cleared what we would call beats in some areas, but they still have a lot more that they've got to get to. It'll be all day, if not even into the evening.
And I know you gave us the tally of the damage, of the destruction, but just characterize this. Have you ever seen anything like this before?
I have not. I mean, I've seen such events on TV like everybody else has, but this is bad. This is catastrophic. We're going to have people that are going to be displaced for many months to come. We're thankful at this point we haven't heard of any deaths. It seems to be only the injuries that we heard from this morning. We have, the mayor and I, along with Representative Cindy Burkett, have been out in the field assessing ourselves, and from what we saw, it is absolutely catastrophic, and there's no other word for it.
Your heart breaks when you see this stuff. You talk to some of those people. I know we talk to some of the folks who live down there. They're at a loss for words. How do you try and comfort the folks of your city right now?
You know, the only thing we can do is do our very best and give them our attention. We're trying to give them good information. We're out there in the field. We're doing everything we can. We have, I think at one point, 16 different, actually 20-something jurisdictions that are helping us, other agencies. We've got Texas Department of Public Safety here. We've got multiple cities. We're doing everything we can, but I will tell you, this would be a long haul. This is not a short fix.
Is it too early to put a dollar figure on the damage right now?
Yes, it's still too early to put a dollar figure, but I will tell you, part of the reason we're doing the assessment the way that we're doing is to be able to do that. We are anticipating right now that we will be filing the documentation for a national disaster. We know that that threshold is $8.3 million. We were speculating we will meet that.
Well beyond that, or meeting that?
I don't know that yet.
Okay. And you said you've only been able to survey half of the damage at this point,
Well,
correct?
approximately, thinking through the beats that we've got, I can't give you whether truly it really is half, but we've gotten through a lot of the areas already.
What portions have not been surveyed yet?
Neil, can you help me with that?
We have seven different, what we call box districts. And those seven that we've only surveyed two, we're moving into the third box at this time. So the results that he gave you of the damage is out of 2 boxes. So we've got 7, possible 8 boxes to assess damage. So
Chief, I wanted to ask you, because earlier today when we spoke this morning at your 7 a.m. briefing, you all were talking about wanting the sort of the daylight to come up just so that you can set some eyes on it. Was it as bad as you thought? Was it worse?
absolutely, like Mr. Funderburg said, it's devastating. It's bad. We've got a lot of damage, property damage. Our heart goes out to our citizens, and we're going to do everything we can to make sure that we do a good job and serve them as we do.
Moving forward, I'm assuming you have to count on the help of the multi-agencies sort of set up right now.
Absolutely. We have agencies reaching out to us, to myself and Chief Rowlett. We have police and fire agencies from across the state reaching out to us, offering assistance, and we'll be mobilizing those folks in the days to come.
And how about the governor's office? Has anyone been able to hear from the governor's office, see if they're getting involved here?
We leave that to the mayor and to the mayor.
We actually have not we have not at this point yet, but they have been notified. I believe the deputy has been notified, and they are essentially processing all the paperwork needed for us.
Brian, to be clear, the numbers I heard from here from two of you, we don't have a total under a building.
That is correct, and we are expecting the number to go up dramatically. There are enough, just from what we've seen and what we've observed out in the field, that tells us that what we've seen in a couple of these boxed areas, we're going to see repeated in others.
Yeah, and Ray, one of the things I comment is, to see a picture on television is really does not do it justice. You go out there and you see telephone poles where you've seen accidents before a car hits a telephone pole, the telephone hardly moves. Telephone pole after telephone pole after telephone pole snapped, just like twigs. And it's unbelievable when you see the devastation that's there. It is along with the homes, and the roofs ripped off the homes, and power lines just lying all over the place. It's just unbelievable.
And Mayor, tell me something. Are you equally as amazed as so many people are that after seeing so much damage, seeing all the destruction out there, that in fact, right now, you haven't been able to confirm any deaths, and really you're only dealing with 23, what I'm being told are 23 minor injuries. Is that sort of amazing to you?
It's an absolute miracle as far as I'm concerned. When you look at the devastation of homes, you talk to some of the folks in the fire department that actually lifted people up out of the rubble, a wall had fallen on or something, and they walk away, or with some slight abrasions. It's absolutely, it's truly amazing. It really is. And again, it doesn't do it justice until you actually walk through that community and you see the devastation.
I do want to make it clear, we're not characterizing all as minor injuries.
Okay.
There are some surgeries that have had to be done, so there was some critical as well. Lake Point Hospital had to transport at least 4 or 5 of those to another location, so some of the injuries were very serious.
So they're in varying degrees. Okay.
Any additional questions?
What's the biggest hurdle you face right now?
Weather, time. We're doing the assessment right now, as you can see from my map here, that it's a huge swath right out of the middle of Rowlett, our entire southeastern quadrant, and a piece of the northeast quadrant. There are a lot of people that have been able to find shelter either through families or friends or whatever, but we're still going through each one methodically, each area, and so it's going to take time to do that. The other thing is, once we get past this stage, there'll be cleanup and a lot more. We're in this for the long haul. It will not be a short-term issue.
So forgive us for getting late, there was a little traffic. You've got that entire corridor that you've got to shift through. Can you give numbers, estimates on homes that are damaged or destroyed? away.
We did indicate this earlier, but understand, as our fire chief pointed out, there's about 7 boxed areas that we're going through. We've gone through 2 of those and starting into the third, so this information is based on that. We have 42 affected homes with some level of damage, 38 minor, 22 major structural damaged homes, and 39 homes that have been totally destroyed. And there will be more
39 homes destroyed.
totally destroyed.
39 homes destroyed.
Just like Cloud in the Sky.
Yes, just collapse where it is.
Have you made it to the mobile home park that was in question earlier?
Yes, the mayor and I, we did go into that area today. There were quite a few that will probably be just as total. I don't even know if that's one of the areas we've been yet. Like I said, we're doing this very methodically. We've got tons of people all over on the field, out there, boots on the ground, but it's just gonna take time to get through all of them.
And it's very difficult to even really to identify some of the mobile homes because they're in such bad condition. And some have been tossed around, so you're not sure if that's an actual mobile home or if it's part of another home. We're not sure at this point.
Are you confident you've gotten to all the victims, if there's nobody still trapped under the rubble or out there somewhere?
We're not 100% confident with that. We feel comfortable that we've gotten to everyone. Like I say, Texas Task Force 1 is on site, and they're doing a follow-up search and rescue effort to make sure they've got the canines out as well. We had canines out last night as well, so we were unable to detect anything last night or this morning so far. So we feel like we've got all the victims out. We feel like our early warning system really helped us in notifying the public that they needed to take cover and take shelter so that they were able to be safe.
Anybody still missing that you're concerned about?
Not that we know of. No, not at this time.
Chief, this is not your first rodeo, you've seen a lot. But when you see that level of destruction and no fatalities, what goes through your mind?
God's watching over us. I'll just say that.
Many of the people I spoke with last night said, you know, they weren't really sure to believe it or not, but the phone, or they were on television, or the radio, and they took cover.
Yes, we activated our sirens 4 times last night prior to the hit, so we were trying to be ahead of the game.
What effect do you think that early warning had, maybe on the fact that somebody was still here, that there weren't any more serious injuries than there
I
were?
feel like it had a major effect. It let the public know that they needed to take cover, and everybody took cover, and I think that's really, we had fewer fatalities or fewer injuries.
And again, how many injuries have you reported that people transported?
23 total. And out of the devastation, you can see the swath is about 3/4 to a mile wide. It's about at least 4 miles long, so that's pretty remarkable. We only had 23 injuries. As Lundberg said, 4 or 5 of them had some.
Have you all had any confirmation on what kind of the size of this tornado? We heard EF4 up in Garland, but how about here?
EF3 is what National Weather's telling us right now. And that could change. We don't know.
When you talk about SWAT being 3/4 of a mile, what I was with the stock ground was that was accurate, but the center of that, there's about a 3-house width.
It varies from 3 to 6 house width in different locations throughout the swath that it took across the city. Some of it, like we said, there's just 2 or 3 houses damaged, some of it there's 5 or 6. There's a couple of streets that there's whole streets of houses are gone.
Chief, what advice do you have, because I imagine most of that peninsula is still without power. What advice do you have for those who are still, I guess, in their homes?
Just be cautious of the power lines. We think that the power is secure, but we don't know that. Treat it like it's always live.
I mean, are you telling them to stay in?
Yes, shelter in place. Don't be out if they don't need to be out. We do have shelter at Stedham Elementary. If somebody needs a place right across, it's set up there for us to take care of.
But have you guys got that locked down, pretty much? So if you leave, you're not getting back in kind of thing?
Well, if you leave and you live there, we can get you back in. We don't need extra people coming in.
Chief Broadnax, can we chat with you here for a second? Earlier, there were some concerns that there may have been some looting in the earlier hours of this event. Do you fear that something like that might happen tonight as we go into nightfall here?
Well, we had a report this morning when it first occurred, then we had another report later this afternoon, but that's the only reports we had. We've got it locked down pretty tight. We've got a lot of barricade blockades prohibiting anybody in the area that does not live there. And then we're gonna have roaming officers going through there also. Our mutual aid, in our area here, we don't actually call out their mutual aid. We just answer the phone and they're all calling us, saying, what do you need, where do you need us, how many? And they come to us, so we're well equipped right now with personnel from agencies all over the DFW Metroplex. And it looks like we'll hold strong for the next few days with security and tighten everything down.
So that's your message to the community right now, who may have some security concerns going into the night?
Yes, I think we'll have it tightened down. Now, there's always looting within your own. That can always occur with kids or something like that. But we're pretty sure we'll keep any outsiders out from coming into our neighborhood. So we feel like it's going to be safe. The chief and I rode through the whole area here earlier this afternoon, and it was amazing to see the will of the people. It was obvious that they were upset with what had occurred, but they were still upbeat and not bitter or mad or anything like that. It was an amazing group of individuals we out there around it, and we talked to a lot of them. So it's a good group of people, so I think we're going to self-sustain ourselves.
I'm sorry, this is a repetitive question. Can you say again that the swath is how many miles by 3 to 5 houses by what?
It's probably a 3/4 to a mile wide. The most intense part up through the center of it is probably 4 miles long across from this point up there.
So a half mile by 7 8 miles.
And one other clarification real quick, from what we saw in the field, it moved around. So it wasn't just a perfect straight line, and so it skipped some homes, and then it hit a definitely one, and then you go over here in another area, and it would hit something you didn't think it would have, so it definitely moved around. And in some spots, it was more intense when you hit a junkie. So, but it's roughly 3 miles across, and but more, the tighter where it actually hit.
Do you think it could have been 2?
Say that again?
Do you think it could have been 2 tornadoes?
We have not received any indication of that. And from the pictures we've seen, it definitely looks like one large.
Thank you very much.
Yes.
I know a lot of residents are going to volunteer and help out their community. Do you guys know when y'all are going to need volunteers?
What we're telling people right now is that we need trained, skilled volunteers that we can put out in the field, and we're doing a damage assessment. At this point, we're not asking for general volunteers and others to, because right now we can't even get them really into the areas where they could be used the best. However, in the coming days, we do see a role for that, and we will definitely be posting that information on our website.
And one more question, I know the governor's concerned about what's going on, I think it's been declared. Are you guys going to expect to get any military assistance, Air National Guard? I know the area is bad, it's hard to get to, it's a peninsula.
It's too early to tell folks out there right now. We have those resources available to us through the county and the state, but it's still too early for us to determine if we're going to have those guys get it or not. I think we've got it pretty secure, but we do have it available.
Also, I want to say thank you very much to all of our amazing city staff for all hard work and effort. We've been over here 24/7, working with crews. They've done a marvelous job. And just a very special thanks to the volunteers. Our community emergency response, our CERT team's been out. They are really just absolutely amazing. And all the additional counties, I cannot tell you the amount of support that we've been offered by all the different agencies. And basically, whatever you need, churches are opening their doors. It's really a great. It really says a lot about the community that we live in.
Thank you.
Thank you guys.
Thank you all very much.
Thank you.